Close that down and we'll make a start. That's going to be a bit loud. So starting with our usual setup position as we do every week. So feet hip width apart, knees nice and soft so they're not locked. So if you're unsure, just lock them out and then unlock them. We're going to rock that weight forwards over the balls of the feet, coming over the big toes and then rocking back over the heels. So just nice, making sure that weight's nice and evenly distributed throughout the feet, throughout the foot. So just rocking forwards and backwards. And we're going to maintain our core engagement, which we find when we're rocking forwards, bringing it back to centre with a nice strong core. Hands on the hips, finding neutral, so sticking that bottom out behind and then really scooping that tailbone between the legs. And then back out, bottom comes out, really stick that bottom out. And then scoop and tuck. And then we're going to find that midpoint, so we're just going to slightly curl the tailbone under, so the hip bones are nice and level. Drawing up through that pelvic floor as well, and then crown of the head up towards the ceiling. So really lengthen through the spine, create some space between the vertebrae, and then just bringing the shoulders up, down, and back. So really big shoulder rolls. Really slide those shoulder blades down and back as we draw the, on that exhale breath. Sorry, I'm all out of sync this morning. Somebody else coming in. So just carry on with your shoulder rolling a second while I let Kate in. So finally, sliding those shoulder blades down and back. Morning, Kate. And we're going to take it up into a full body stretch. So reaching with the arms, reaching up towards the ceiling. Let's take it into a side bend from here. So keeping the hips above the feet. Create some length into the side of the waist there. Oh, I think I put the wrong playlist on here. I've got Meatloaf now. I'm coming back up and over to the other side. Never done Pilates to Meatloaf before. And then exhale, coming back to center. We're going to bring the hands behind the head, pushing the head into the hands so the spine's nice and long, and take it into our rotation now. So hips remain facing the front as we rotate through the spine. So the rotation's coming from the spine, not the hips. Exhale as we twist, inhale it back to center. Exhale it through on that twist, and then bring it back to center. Then keeping the spine nice and tall, keeping that tailbone tucked under. Shouldn't be able to see the elbows. Elbows are out to the side. We're going to take the gaze up towards the ceiling, really open up the chest there. You'll feel the upper back working slightly there as well. And then exhale, coming back to our nice neutral spine. Let's go for 3 more of those. So taking an inhale breath, taking that gaze up towards the ceiling, pushing the head back into the hands, and then bringing the ribs back towards the hips. Last 2. Really pushing that head back into the hands, really open up the chest, work that upper back. And last 1. Take that gaze up towards the ceiling, elbows out to the side, should be able to see them, and then slide the ribs back towards the hips. We're going to take it into a roll down from this position, so making sure that tailbone is tucked under. Take an inhale breath. As we exhale this time, allow the chin to come towards the chest, keeping the hands behind the head. We're rolling all the way down, feeling that stretch down the spine. Keep the tailbone tucked under for as long as possible. Knees nice and soft, going down as far as the hamstrings will allow, and then just relax the arms. Let the arms dangle, let the head dangle, little head nod yes, little head shake no, and just nice deep breaths down here. So circular breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. On the exhale breath, see if you can push a little bit further into that stretch, really feeling that stretch to the back of the legs, lower back. Let's go for 1 more deep breath. On the next exhale breath, we're going to rebuild the spine. So inhale breath. As we exhale, really pull the tummy button up towards the spine, away from the thighs. Pushing up into the spine as we roll back up and roll back out. Nice and slowly, restack. And at the top, nice big shoulder roll. Let's go for 1 more roll down. Take an inhale breath because it feels really nice. Exhale, chin comes towards the chest. Just let the arms dangle. Rolling it down. Keeping that core active. And at the bottom, we're just going to flop. Relaxing that upper body, relaxing the neck. There should be no creases in the back of the neck. Just allow the head to feel really heavy. Nice deep inhale breath, and as we exhale again, drawing up through the tummy button, drawing up through the pelvic floor, rolling back up, rolling back out. Nice and slowly, reaching the top, nice big shoulder roll, slide those shoulder blades down and back. And we're just going to do a bit of leg work. So we're going to start with some squats. So the feet want to be in parallel, knees directly above the heels. So we're leading with the hips from a squat. So the hips hinge back first, reaching the arms forward, bring that bottom down nice and low, keeping that spine lengthened, and then exhale through the heels as we drive up out of that squat. Slight little squeeze at the bottom at the top, and then leading again with the hips coming down. Reach, spine's nice and long, and then exhale it back up. So we're going to swap this to a curtsy squat soon. So we're just going to get that feeling of the squat first. Let's go for one more. And then driving up through the heels. So now we're going to transfer the weight over to the left leg. We're going to reach the right leg behind. So the knee comes down to the floor in line with the heel. So balance and then drive up through that left heel and back. So it's a curtsy squat. So inhaling down, exhale, push. I don't know if you can see me properly there. So we back with that leg, knee comes down directly behind that left heel, and then back out. Let's go for 8 more on this side. Perfect, that looks good, everyone. 1. 2. So we should be feeling that in the left quad. 3. And then a second, somebody else waiting. No. Let's go 4. Halfway there on this side. 5. Engaging through that core to keep that balance. 6. Last 2 on this side. 7. And the last one, we're going to stay down in that curtsy squat. We're going to pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, lovely Gemma, 4, 3, nice Sheila, 2, and 1, and through the heel and back to centre, well done. Give that left leg a little bit of a shake out. We're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So feet in parallel, transferring the weight over to the right side this time. We're reaching that foot back, heel comes down, and back to centre. So let's take it for 8. You should be able to feel this in the glutes. Curtsy squat's really good at activating that glute, making sure we're really driving through that right heel. Last 6. Inhale it down. 5. So the knee kind of kisses the floor. Don't allow that rest at the bottom. Last 4. It gets nice and warm. Gemma, you're already warm. 3, 2, and last one, we're going to go down to our curtsy, hovering the knee above the mat. We're going to pulse it for 8, 7, spine's nice and tall, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and through the heel, back to centre. Give that right leg a little bit of a shake out. We are then coming down onto the mat. So we're going to stand towards the end of the mat. We're going to take it into a nice tabletop first. So knees nice and soft, tailbones tucked under, taking it up into full body stretch first, and then we're going to hinge from the hips. So keeping the spine lengthened, we're coming down into our tabletop position, pushing the weight back over the heels, coming down, sticking the bottom out behind, lengthen through the spine. Feel that lovely stretch all the way down the back of the legs. Let's hold it 3, 2, and 1. We're going to return back to our flock position, so relaxing the upper body, head, neck, shoulders, arms. And then bringing the hands all the way down to the floor, so you might need to pop a little bend into the knee. We're going to walk out into our plank, so coming down the mat, ending up with the hands, wrists rather, underneath the shoulders, bottom level with the body. So set that really nice strong plank, push the floor away with the hands so the shoulders are nice and active. We're going to hold it here for 3, 2, and 1. We're going to come down to elbows onto our forearms, so the elbows now are directly underneath the shoulder. If this is too much, come down to 3/4 plank by bringing the knees down, but don't lose that core engagement. If you're okay with that, we're going to start to bring the left hip down towards the floor and then bring it back to center. Right hip comes down towards the floor. Bring it back to center. Let's go for 3 more on each side. Squeeze back to center. Push the floor away with the elbows. Don't allow those shoulders to creep up. Dip and pull back to center. Dip and pull it back to center. This should really wake the core up. Last ones. Inhale as the hip comes down. Exhale as the hips come back to center. If the knees aren't already down, bring the knees down, bring the hips down, bring the hands onto the floor and push up into a nice cobra stretch. Lengthening through those abdominals. Nice deep breath. Shoulders down and back. Don't let those shoulders creep up. We're coming all the way down onto the floor now for a bit of spine work. Let me just hold my camera now. I'm down on my mat. Right. So we're all the way down on the mat now. We're going to start with the lower body, glutes mainly. So hands one on top of the other, forehead relaxed. Finding that neutral position again. So we're scooping up with the tummy button, pressing that pubic bone down into the floor. I want you to find the corners of the mat with your feet. So the legs are slightly wider than hip width. And now I'm just going to do a bit of hip mobility. So bringing the toes to the floor, allow the heels to come in facing each other. So we're externally rotating the leg and then bring the heels round, internally rotating the leg. So it's just a heel. We're drawing a rainbow with the heel. Just imagining that hip socket, ball and socket joint, rotating the leg. And then bringing it back. Let's keep that going one more time. And you'll notice when the heels come and face each other, we slightly engage through the glutes there. That's what we want. So keeping the heels facing each other, we're then going to bend through the knees and join the heels together. Again, pushing down the pubic bone, lifting the tummy button up from the floor. We're going to start with some glute work. So you can widen out through the knees a little bit here if it feels more comfortable. So squeezing with the heels, take an inhale breath, relaxing the head, and exhale with squeezing the feet up towards the ceiling. Should feel a really nice glute activation there. And then inhale, bring it down. So it's an exhale breath, we squeeze up, squeeze the bottom, keep that tummy lifted. Inhale breath, lower it back down. Exhale it up. And inhale, lower. Squeezing up, up, up. Inhale, lower it back down. Let's go for 4 more. Wake those glutes up. 3, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. 2, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And 1, squeeze as high as you can, lift those heels up towards the ceiling, keep that tummy button lifted, holding for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the knees down. Keeping the heels in this position, we're going to work the upper spine now. So forehead down onto the hands, take an inhale breath. As we exhale, we're going to lift the head and shoulders up from the mat. So it's a little hover rather than a lift, I should say. So we're going to hold it for 3, 2, 1, and inhale as we lower it back down. Exhale, breath, we lift. Keeping the neck nice and long, keeping that tummy lifted up from the floor. 1, and lower it back down. Level 2, we come up with legs and upper body. So take an inhale breath. As we exhale, we come up with the knees, lifting those heels up, hovering the head and shoulders above the mat. So we're working the whole of the posterior chain there. Hold for 2, and 1, and lower it back down. If that's too much, just carry on with upper back. Inhale, breath, exhale, squeeze the glutes, lift the head and shoulders, holding for 3, 2, 1, and lower it back down. Last one, but we're going to add a little bit onto the end of this one. So we're going to exhale, lift, holding for 3, 2, 1. We're going to go straight into swimming now. So extend the arms out, lengthen through the legs. Imagine somebody's pulling the arms and legs in different directions. Either hold it here or swim. We're going to go for 5 breaths. 4, 3, lovely, 2, and 1. Don't stop there. Lengthen through the body, holding for 3, 2, 1, and release down to the mat. Well done. Oh, that's giving the spine a good workout this morning. Hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale, breath. As we exhale, engaging through the core. We're going to come up onto the knees and sit it back into our child's pose. Really stretch out that spine. And then from here, we'll just enjoy this stretch for a few seconds. We're going to take it into a tricep press up. So take an inhale breath into our child's pose. As we exhale, we're coming up, shoulders come over the wrists. And then we're going to keep the elbow creases pointing forward, core switched on, as we inhale it down towards the floor. And exhale, push up, back into our child's pose. So sitting back into the heels. Inhale, breath into our child's pose. Exhale, breath, shoulders come up and over, elbow creases point forward, keeping those elbows nice and tight towards the ribs, and then sitting back into our child's pose. Let's go for 3 more of these. Elbows nice and tight, core nice and strong, so no hinging from the hips. Exhale as you push back up. Last 2. Inhale it down. Exhale as you push back up. Last one. Let's go for 3 press-ups on this last one. So bring those shoulders over the wrists. Core switched on. Inhale as you're coming down, nice and controlled. Exhale as you push back up. 1. Inhale it down. Exhale it up. 2. Last one. And exhale, push. Lovely. Sit back into the heels. Enjoy that child's pose for a few seconds. I'm going to have to turn this music on. That's Cecilia on now. This is my Pilates playlist. Right, there we go, it's better. Ended up going really fast through it for upbeat music. Right, Now, we're going to come down onto our spines and do some ab work. So, last week we talked a lot about pelvic stability. So, we're going to work in our neutral spine position for this first exercise. So, the hip bones and the pubic bone are level. There is a slight curve into that lower back. We're not imprinting. We've got that slight gap between the lower back and the mat. So, we're just going to start by engaging our transverse muscle. So no movement from the spine, no movement from the pelvis. We're going to exhale the leg up into tabletop and then place the leg back down to the floor. No movement from the hips. So going with the other side, exhaling up, inhale lower. Pop the hands on the hip bones if you like, just to make sure there's no movement. So just making sure we're engaging that transverse muscle. Nothing in this upper body changes, the only movement is coming from the leg. You can make this a little bit harder by switching the legs mid-air, just increasing the weight into the lever, again popping the hands on the hips, the tummy, making sure that gap between the hip and the lower rib doesn't change. So we're just prepping the abdominals, making sure we're engaging those deep core muscles. Keep breathing, don't hold the breath. Let's go for 2 more. And last one. And then bring both legs one at a time back down onto the mat. We're then going to bring the hands behind the head. We're going to lengthen the legs away from the body. So making sure, again, we're keeping that spine in neutral. If you need to pop a little bend into the knee here, you can do. If not, try to work with straight legs. We're going to take an inhale breath. As we exhale, we're going to lift the right leg as straight as we can, bearing in mind that hip. We don't want to be moving the hip, so squeezing up and then bringing the leg back down. Going with the other side now. Exhale, lift, so working the hip flexors. Squeeze that leg up as high as you can. Really work those hip flexors as we lift. Inhale, lower. So just going one side then the other, keeping that leg as straight as we can. It's fine if there's a slight bend in the knee though. I'd rather you bend the knee than lift it up the spine. So now we're going to add on to that exercise. So as the leg comes up, we're going to lift up through the head and shoulders as well. So reaching up as far as you can go and then bring it back down. So inhale, breath, prepare, exhale, lift, squeezing up and then lowering back down. Just keep that going, keeping those hips as still as we can, making sure the hips are down into the floor, anchored down into the floor. Let's go for 2 more to each side. Really lifting up with the chest, head and shoulders as high as we can. And lower. Last ones. And last one. Exhale, we're going to stay up on this one. Head and shoulders stay up. We're going to bring, if your right leg's up, we're bringing the left elbow over towards right knee. If it's the right leg, left elbow comes over. So head and shoulders are going to stay up now, and we're going to switch. So we're not getting that rest in the center, making sure those hips are nice and still. We're working across the waist now with our crisscross. So rotate, elbow comes towards the outside of that knee. Exhale it through. Hip flexors should be screaming, abs should be screaming. We're going to go for 2 more, maybe said 3 then, on each side. If you've got a bend in the knee, that's fine. Last ones. And last one. Exhale it through. And then bending through the knee, pop the feet back onto the floor, bring the head and shoulders down. So that should have been a nice little core wake up for you. Let's have a little stretch. So just bringing the feet to the sides of the mat, keeping the hands behind the head. Just roll the knees over in one direction, keeping the hips onto the floor. Feeling a nice stretch across the waist there. Whew. And then bringing knees through the center, over to the other side. You can roll the head away from the knees here if you like. Just feel a little bit more of a pull. And then bringing the knees back to center. We're going to take it into our shoulder bridge now. Take my top off and warm now. So coming down onto the mat, onto our spines again, we're going to work our shoulder bridge. So heels underneath the knees. Imagining we've got a tennis ball in between the knees as well that we're trying to squeeze and keep those legs nice and still. So arms down to the side, shoulders and collarbones nice and wide. Spine should be in neutral spine at the moment. We're going to take an inhale breath. As we exhale, we're going to imprint the spine. Start to lift the pubic bone higher than the hips and then just start to peel the spine up from the mat. Squeezing that tennis ball between the knees, squeezing the tailbone between the legs. Nice straight slope from knee down to shoulder. Inhale breath and then exhale. As slowly and as what am I trying to say? One vertebrae at a time. So really focus on placing one vertebrae at a time back down onto the floor. Tailbone comes down, spine comes back to neutral. Inhale breath, exhale again, up we go. So tilt the pelvis, peel the spine, squeeze the hips up, squeeze your tennis ball between the knees. Inhale breath, exhale breath as we start to lower the spine back down. And then on this next one, we're going to take an inhale breath. We're going to stay up in bridge for the next one. So tilt and peel, scoop that tailbone under. I want you to think about pulling the heels back towards the bottom without actually moving the feet. So you'll start to engage a little bit more through the back of the legs. So we're trying to wrinkle that mat up, squeezing that tennis ball still. Lots to think about. Inhale breath. We're going to bring the arms over the head. Lengthen through the arms. Arms come down behind the head. I want you to imagine somebody's pulling the hands away from you. So shoulders can come up towards the ears now on this one. Take an inhale breath. As we exhale, we're going to slowly release the spine down, keeping that pull of the arms. Controlling the spine, back down to the floor, keeping those arms behind the head. Let's go again. Take an inhale breath. As we exhale, tilt the pelvis, peel the spine, squeeze your tennis ball, keep that tailbone tucked, hips come up nice and high, create that nice straight slope. Arms are still pulling out behind the head. We're going to come up into a heel raise now. So either level one, we raise one heel, and then back down, and then left heel. Level twos, we're coming up with both heels. You should feel a nice engagement through the hamstrings as you come up onto the balls of the feet, and then place those heels back down. Let's go for 4 more. Either one at a time or both heels together. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. You should feel those glutes working as well here. Heels come down. Inhale breath. Exhale. Slowly start to place the spine back down. Control, control, control. And then 1 more. Bring the arms back by the side of the body. Collarbones nice and wide now, so shoulder blades come back down. Inhale breath. Exhale, up we come. Keeping the arms down by the side. Again, keeping that squeeze on that imaginary tennis ball. Hips come up nice and high. We're then going to bend through the elbows. The palms of the hand are facing each other. In one movement, we're going to dip the hips down and then push back up towards the ceiling. Push, so the spine's coming down in one movement, so almost touching the floor, and push. Let's go for 2 more. Inhale down, exhale push. Squeeze those hips up towards the ceiling. We're then going to bring the forearms out to the side, so we're rotating the shoulder, opening up the chest, so the forearms nearly touch the floor as close as you can, and then exhale, coming back to center. We're going to dip the hips and push back up towards the ceiling. Pushing hips up, forearms come down. So again, think of that ball and socket joint in the shoulder. We're rotating that shoulder out. So dip, push, squeeze tennis ball, forearms come down. Let's go for 2 more. And push. Work those inner thighs as well. Keep that squeeze on the tennis ball. Bring the forearms parallel. Bring the arms behind the head. Again, imagine somebody's pulling the hands behind the head. Shoulders come up. Let's release the spine down. 1 vertebrae at a time. Control, control, control. Well done. Spine comes down. Grab hold of one knee. Grab hold of the other knee. Pull those knees up towards the shoulders. So you should have felt that inside the inner thigh, in the glutes, in the hamstring. A little bit of shoulder work as well thrown in. So from here, we're going to play around with single leg stretch now. So bringing the arms down to the side of the body, bringing the legs one at a time into our tabletop position. Again, thinking about pelvic stability, core engagement, so spine's in neutral, arms down by the side. We're going to lengthen one leg away and then bring it back. Lengthen the other leg away. So, if that's too tricky to keep the spine in neutral, take the legs a little bit higher. If you want to work a little bit harder, take the legs a little bit lower. As long as we're maintaining neutral or imprint here, actually, you can go into imprint. We're going to add something in now. So we're going to speed it up. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to start to come up with the head and shoulders for 4, 3, 4, down, 2, 3, 4, up. So really stretch the leg away, 3, 4, down, 2, 3, 4. So reaching with the arms, peeling the shoulder blades up from the mat. Obviously, if this is too much, stay with the head down, 2, 3, 4. Those who are fine with the roller, you can come all the way up onto the back of those sit bones, if you like, and then down, 2, 3, 4. It's hard. Up, 2, 3, 4, down, 2, 3, 4, up, 2, 3, 4. Nearly didn't make it. Down, 2, 3, 4. Last 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, 2, 3, 4. Last one. Down, up, sorry, 2, 3, 4. Down, 2, 3, and 4. Well done. Hug the knees into the chest. Well done. Having a little play around with single leg stretch. A nice little roll there. So now we're going to come up into seated. So popping the feet back down. What we're doing next? Oh yeah. Lengthening the legs away. If you want to keep that bend in the knee there, please do. Let's take it out into full body stretch. So lift the spine up from the floor. Feel the length into the abdominals there. Nice deep breath. Breathing into the bottom of the rib cage. And then we're going to bring the arms up towards the ceiling, palms facing. Anchor the shoulders down. Inhale, breath here as we exhale. Chin comes towards the chest. Lengthen through the back of the neck as we start to peel the spine up from the floor. Try to keep those heels down if you can. Lovely mum. Reach it nice and tall at the top. Nice and tall on those sit bones. If you need to bend the knee there to get taller, that's fine. And then we're going to spine stretch. So we're going to reach forwards with the upper body, backwards with the waist. Reach over that big beach ball on the lap. Get that gaps between the vertebrae and the spine. And then we're going to lengthen again. So again, if you need to bend the knees, if you've got tight hamstrings, tight lower back, that's fine. Inhale, breath. Exhale, tilt the pelvis. We're just going to do a few more roll downs, roll ups. So control the spine, use the core to control, lovely. Bring the arms behind the head. Nice deep inhale breath here. Lift the spine. As we start to exhale, bring the arms up. Start to press the spine down. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, chin to chest. Start to peel up, up, up. Lovely, Jill. Sit nice and tall. And on this one, we're forward folding, so reaching for the feet, leading with the chest. So we're not C-curving the spine too much. And let's go for two more. So again, lengthen, back to center, shoulders down and back. Inhale, breath, exhale, tilt. Start to place the spine down, one vertebrae at a time. Control, control, control. Bring the arms behind the head. Nice inhale breath, lift the spine up. Exhale breath, start to press the spine down as the arms come up above the shoulders. Anchor the shoulders, inhale breath. Exhale, chin to chest. Heeling up, sitting tall. Let's forward fold again, feels nice. Reaching towards the feet, leading with the chest. Gosh, where's the time going? And release, well done. Let's open up through the front of the body. So bringing the hands behind the body, making sure hands actually go out to the side. You can bend through the knees here. We're going to take it up into a bridge. So take an inhale breath as we exhale. Keeping the chest nice and proud, we're just going to lift the hips up towards the ceiling, open up the chest, open up the front of the body, hips come up, let's hold it for 3, 2, 1, and slowly lower it back down. Bring the bottom back down to the floor, well done. We're then going to come onto our sides. We're going to work side plank. So, elbow, I'm going to give you lots of options though, so don't panic. Elbow underneath the shoulder, shoulder well away from the ear. So our level 1, the hips are going to stay down on the floor. We're going to reach the arm up towards the ceiling. Inhale breath. As we exhale, we're going to rotate and feed that hand in between that gap. And then bring the arm back up towards the ceiling, in line with the shoulder, not beyond. So it's just a simple twist and raise. That's your level 1. Level 2, we're going to lengthen out this top leg, lifting the hip up off the floor. So it's a feed, hip stays up and reach. Level 3, full side plank. So we're just rotating and lifting, making sure this underneath shoulder is well away from the ear. So push the elbow into the mat. We're going to go for 4 more. Take it at your level though. Keep that knee down or keep the hip down. 3. Inhale, open. 2. Nearly there. Don't let that shoulder creep up nice and strong through the shoulder. And 1, scoop and reach. Let's hold, really lift those hips up for 3, 2, 1, and slowly place the hips down onto the floor. Well done. We're going to come into a mermaid stretch now, which is going to lead us into our next exercise. So feet folded to the side, grab hold of the ankles, and just lengthen through that underneath side of the waist there. Oh, feels good too. And then we're going to take it into a rotated push from here. So bring that hand down to the mat, the outside of the mat, and then bring the shoulders square to the floor. So hands are pointing forward. We're going to bend through the elbows, inhaling down and exhale as we push, keeping that core switched on. So we've got rotation going on in the spine and a little bit of arm work too. Push. Let's go for 2 more. Inhaling down and exhale, push. Last ones. We're going to stay down. We're going to reach the hands to the top of the mat, so fully extend the hands, and then we're going to fully extend this top leg. So we're still in rotation of the spine, and we're going to work our side kick. So we're going to sweep the leg forward. I hope this is making sense. And then sweep it back. So we're keeping the leg parallel with the floor if we can, working that glute. You can bring the elbows down, take the pressure off the arms if you like. So we've got our rotation still going on with the spine. Leg is parallel with the floor, and we're all getting on. That looks really good. Lovely, Julie. Keep it going. Just don't allow that leg to collapse into the floor. We're keeping a nice parallel line with the floor. Let's go for 3, 2, and last one. 1. Leg stays raised at hip level. We're then going to come up with the arm nearest me, coming back, so we're not rotating through the spine anymore, and we're going to go for a leg raise. So we're going to go for 5, squeezing from the side of the bottom, 4, 3, oh, well done Sheila, that looks good, 2, and last one, squeezing up, and then bring that foot down, well done. Coming back into seated, we'll just give that glute a nice stretch now. So just bring the foot across the knee, and then just hug that knee, keeping the hips down onto the floor, feeling that nice stretch into the bottom. And then we've got all that to do on the other side. So we're going to start with obliques. So get yourself out of that little twist there. We're going to come down onto our side. So elbow underneath the shoulder, shoulder away from the ear. So level 1s, hips stay down on the floor, arm comes up and we rotate in and up. Level 2s, lengthen through that top leg, lift the hips up, keep the knee down, and we rotate. Exhale as we rotate, inhale as we lift. Level 3s, full side plank, squeeze those hips up, find that gap and reach. And up, lovely. Let's go for 4 more. Up, last 3. And how much we all like side planks. 2. And last one. Rotate and reach. We're going to hold, squeeze those hips up a little bit higher if the hips are up for 3, 2, 1, and control it down. Well done. We're going to bring it into our mermaid stretch now. So folding the legs to the side, grabbing hold of your ankles there, reach the arm up and over, feel that lovely stretch and length between that bottom rib and hip. And then we're going to take it into our rotated press. So bringing the hands to the sides of the mat, rotate through so the shoulders are square to the floor. We're going to come down, inhaling it down, and exhale, push back up. So working in that rotated spine position. Inhale as we lower. That's it, lovely Kuna. Exhale it back up. Perfect, Jill. Next one will stay down. So coming down, stepping the hands to the end of the mat. You can bring the elbows down to the floor so the shoulders are square to the mat. This is where we lengthen that top leg away. We're going to work our kick, so we're going to sweep the leg forwards, leg stays parallel, and then bring the leg back. Always parallel with the floor. So working that rotation to the spine, working that glute on the top side, sweep it forward, pull it back, that's it. Keeping that leg always up off the floor. Keep breathing. Let's go for 2 more kicks. 1. And 2. Nice. Then leg stays out, level with the body. We're going to come up with the arm nearest me, reaching up. So we're square to the camera again, and we're going to lift and lower. Lift and lower. Keeping those obliques working the inside. Don't let that shoulder creep up towards the ear. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, and last one, squeeze up and lower back down. Well done. Walk yourself back into seated. The top leg that we've just been working, just fold it across the knee, hug that knee, hugging into the knee, pulling the knee towards you. Try to get the sit bone down onto the floor. You should feel a really nice stretch into the glute there. And we go. Right. And release. Well done. A little bit of hip mobility now. Feet out nice and wide. Sat nice and tall on the sit bones. Really nice bend into the knee. Bringing the hands to the side of the bottom. We're just going to roll the knees over, down towards the floor. So we've got nice 90-degree bends there in the knee. Back up through the centre and down to the other side. That's our level 1. Level 2, as the knees come down, we reach the arms, so lengthen through the body and then back through the centre and over to the other side. So reach. You can bring the fingers pointing away now. We can take it into a level 3 where we come up onto the knee, pushing into the hip, nice big stretch there, lowering back down, up and over, knees come down and reach. Lovely. Down. Really nice mobility into that hip, really pushing into the hip as we come up. We're up into our level 3, up and over. Down. Let's go for 1 more to each side. And last one. Pushing up and then bring that bottom back down onto the floor. Well done. So in the last exercise, we're going to play around. Rolling. So I'm going to give you lots of options for this one. So first option, feet hip width apart, nice and tall on the sit bones. We're going to lift the feet up, grabbing hold at the top of the ankles, squeezing the ankles towards the bottom. Take an inhale breath as we come back. We're coming back to the shoulders and then balancing at the top. So nice little spine massage there. So that's our level 1. Level 2's hands, doesn't mean it's any harder by the way. Inhale breath as we exhale, we're rolling back, legs come up and over. Nice stretch through that posterior chain. Flex the ankles, part the legs, and slowly roll back down. So a really nice stretchy one. Bending through the knees, coming back into seated, and start again. So it's a roll back, legs come up and over. Flex the feet, part the legs, and slowly place the spine back down. Bending through the knees when the legs are vertical. That's right, isn't it? Vertical, yeah, that's right. And back up to seated. I'm going to give you another little one to play with, which is a combination of exercises. So rolling it back, flexing the feet as we did before, parting the legs, and then rolling it up and catching the legs into our open leg rocker at the top. Don't have to do this, just sort of have a play around. So if we're doing that, so it's either rolling like a ball, so you're just getting that nice spine massage, or taking it into our rollover, flex, part, and then catching the legs as we come up, lengthening through the spine, and bending the knees. Fun, isn't it? Nice one. Let's have another go. So coming up and over, feeling that nice stretch, parting the legs. Try not to go onto the neck though. Exhale it up and catch. Perfect, Kina. And down. Let's keep it going. Let's go for 2 more of those. Just have a little play. I always like to finish with a rolling one. I know it's not everybody's favourite though. So it's a combination, that one, from rolling like a ball, roll over, and open leg rocker. Last one. Hands down to the side. Legs come up and over. Flex the feet, part the legs. Feel that lovely stretch and massage the spine and catch at the top. But really lengthen through the spine on that catch and then bend through the knees. Popping the feet back down to the floor. We'll stretch it out now. So let's go back down onto our spine. We'll stretch those glutes out. Oh, my hair's cut. So nice bend to the knee, feet flat to the mat. We're going to bring the foot over the knee, pressing the spine down, bringing the leg up, other leg up into tabletop position. So we feel a nice stretch into the bottom there. And then just increase that stretch, lift the spine up from the floor. So create some space between the spine and the mat. You should feel a really nice stretch into that glute. Grab hold of the ankle as well if you like, take the pressure off the hip flexor. And then before we place that foot back down, push the spine down first, control the leg back down. Same on the other side, so leg comes across, spine stays down, lift the leg up into tabletop, grab hold of the ankle, feel that lovely stretch into the bottom, deepen that stretch by lifting up through the spine, so pushing the spine away from the floor. Just have to sort my hair situation back up, my hair's all caught. God. Definitely stuck. And then pressing the spine back down, bring the feet back down, taking the feet out nice and wide now. Bring the arms out to the side, palms facing up, shoulders down into the floor, so really opening up through the chest. We're going to roll the shoulders over, keeping the spine, keeping the hips down, rolling the head away from the knees, get that nice diagonal pull. And then bringing the knees back through the center, rolling the head away from the knees. Hips stay down. And then bring the knees back to center. Take the arms behind the head, lengthen the legs away, take it into our full body stretch, lifting up through the spine again, feeling the length into the abdominals. And then bringing the arms up towards the ceiling as we start to press the spine down. We're coming up into a roll up now, so anchor the shoulders, inhale breath here as we exhale, bring the chin towards the chest, start to peel the spine up, up, up. Reach it nice and tall at the top. We're then going to really widen out through the legs. Is Jill still here? No, she's gone, I think. So then we're going to reach the arms forward. I have a special little exercise for Jill because she's super flexible in this stretch. Feel that stretch into the hips. And then take a little walk round to one side. Keep fully stretched. Grab hold of the foot or the lower part of the leg, leading with the chest, bring the chest down towards the knee. Finally. And then walking the hands all the way back through the centre. And over to the other side, grabbing hold of the foot, leading with the chest again. And then bringing the hands back to centre, walking the hands back towards the body, bringing the legs together. We're going to bend through the right knee, so the right foot's to the inside of the left leg. Left arm up towards the ceiling, right hand comes behind, fingers pointing away, and then just come diagonally across. Take a look over that right shoulder into our rotation again, using that leg. Using the elbow and the knee just to increase the stretch. And then bring it back to centre. Same on the other side. So bending through, left leg, left hand behind, fingers pointing away, right arm reaches up nice and tall, coming across diagonally. Taking the gaze over the left shoulder, pushing in to that left knee. And bring it back to centre. Well done. Coming on to all fours now. We are going to do cat and cow stretch. So wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. Take an inhale breath as we exhale. Chin comes towards the chest, tailbone tucks under. Pushing up into the spine. Create the space between the vertebrae. And then lowering down through neutral, gentle squeeze the shoulder blades, stick out the bottom. Back up into our cat stretch, so scoop, chin to chest, tailbone under. And last one, through neutral, gentle squeeze the shoulder blades, stick out the bottom. And then returning back to neutral. Turning the toes underneath. We're going to lift the knees up, cores engage. We're going to roll the weight back over the heels as we start to push the head through the arms. Feel that stretch into the calf there. Take a couple of nice deep breaths. Push the floor away with the hands. Feel that lovely stretch down the side of the body. And then we're going to start to walk the feet up towards the hands this week. So just nice, keeping the legs as straight as we can without locking the knees. Just walking, baby steps, until we're at a place where we can take the weight away from the hands, transfer the weight back into the feet, back into our flop. Hopefully a little bit closer to the floor than we were at the start. Enjoy that stretch. Take a nice deep inhale breath as we exhale. Scoop the tummy button. Start to really pull the tummy button up towards the spine as we start to roll the spine up one vertebrae at a time. And reaching the top, take a couple of really big shoulder rolls. Oh, sorry, you can't see me, which is probably not a bad thing because my hair's all over the shop. And slide the shoulder blades down the back of the